I am back, and I'm back to talk about the NBA awards. Um, Long stretch I was gone, got those wisdom teeth removed, so if I'm talking weird or if I look fluffy in the cheeks, that's why. But we don't care about that. We care about the NBA awards. So I'm gonna start off and just say some of the awards, and then just talk about what I think about the award winners and that stuff. Rookie of the Year, not a rookie. Ben Simmons. Donovan Mitchell should have won it because he's an actual rookie, but that's just me. That's just me. Victor Oladipo won the Most Improved Player. 10 out of 10 thumbs up. Defensive Player, Rudy Gobert. Okay, I agree with that. Sixth Man of the Year, definitely agree with this one. Lou Williams, he averaged like 23 points a game. So yeah, he definitely deserved that. Coach of the Year, Dwayne Casey for the Raptors. He got fired. That's awkward. I feel like he led them to the 1 seed. Well, he did. Well, you get the point. His team was the 1 seed in the East, but I don't think he deserved it. I think Brad Stevens deserved it. His 2 stars went down, and that team was still able to rise up with young guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and make it to the conference finals, Game 7 against LeBron. So I think you got to give Brad Stevens more credit than he deserved. I think Brad Stevens should have won it. Community assist, Kevin Durant, okay, agreed. Teammate of the Year, Jamal Crawford, agreed. Then there's a bunch of other play awards that just are like, okay, cool. So moving on to the big award that's very kind of controversial. Controversy being the MVP award. James Harden won the MVP. I'm going to guess that LeBron finished second, and I'm going to guess it was based on the regular season, because if it was based on the postseason, holy crap, LeBron 100% deserved it. But here's what happened. Harden won the MVP, and now I'm going to discuss why maybe he shouldn't have gotten the MVP. I could look at the numbers, give you a bunch of numbers. I will do that, but you don't need to look at that, honestly. Well, you do need to look at that. You get the point. But LeBron averaged 27.5 points a game, 9.1 assists per game, 8.6 rebounds per game, versus Harden, who was the league-leading scorer, which is obviously a big deal. 30.4 points a game, 8.8 assists per game, 5.4 rebounds per game. So you can see the difference there that LeBron definitely did more overall. He averaged 3 points less, but he was the only player on that team. And something else you have to look at is LeBron played 82 games. Harden played, I think, 72. So LeBron definitely did more. And if LeBron was out one game, they would have gotten beat by 50. But the thing with Harden is that the numbers for their games were interesting. It wasn't if Harden was gone. It was if one of these 3 people were gone. James Harden, Chris Paul, or Clint Capella. The Houston Rockets were 50 wins, 5 losses when all 3 of those guys played, and they had an 11-point difference, which is pretty freaking good if you didn't know. And when one of those 3 were out, they were 23-14 with only a 4.8 margin. So the difference wasn't Harden. It was Harden, Paul, and Capella. If all 3 of those played, they dominated. If one of those guys was out, it showed in the Western Conference Finals, they struggled. So the most valuable player should go to the most valuable player. People are debating last year if it was Westbrook or not. He shouldn't have deserved it. Well, last year Westbrook was literally the most valuable player. It was like LeBron this year. If he was out, they probably sucked. They would have gotten beaten by 50. It's true. But the difference between Westbrook and LeBron is LeBron, Westbrook is Westbrook. You can look at that. LeBron is LeBron and Westbrook is Westbrook. I don't think I need to say much more. But you have to look at the accomplishments. Harden was on the number 1 team in the Western Conference. LeBron was on the number 4 in the Eastern Conference, obviously a weaker conference. If it's based on regular season, once again, you got to look at that. How they did, all that stuff. Harden, as I said, league scorer, top scorer. LeBron did everything. LeBron had more triple-doubles probably. He had more this, that, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, Harden, congrats to him for the MVP, but I think it should have gone to LeBron just because of what he did, like the numbers, and then him carrying the team to the finals. Like, that was impressive. That was a terrible team that LeBron carried to the finals. There was no one else on that team that could have done that. There's no one else in the world that could have done that but LeBron. That's insane what he did. But there are some other things you have to look at that if you want to put LeBron above Harden. LeBron shot better. He shot 54% versus Harden's 45%, so we can take a guess that LeBron took more shots because LeBron obviously was the best player on that team and had to do more. Harden scored 30, so he probably... It actually might have been even because, I could look up the numbers, but, it's a little late for that. I could look them up. I will look them up. But they both shot the same three-point percentage. We can all assume that Harden shot more threes because he's more of a three-point shooter. LeBron's more of a drive and get to the bucket kind of guy. But here's a big difference. Harden shot 86% from the free throw line. LeBron shot 73%. So LeBron kind of struggled from the line. Harden did pretty good at the line. So that's obviously the differences. But I think LeBron should have won the MVP because of what he did with that team. And he literally had no help. You can say Kevin Love was help. I don't think he was help. LeBron basically had to do the scoring. He had to do the distributing of the ball. He was basically the coach too. He could have gotten coach of the year if you threw him in there. But that's what I think for the MVP running and why LeBron should have won it and why Harden, I think he had a good season, MVP-worthy season. So congrats on him for winning the MVP. But I think that, man, LeBron should have won it this year. I told you that I would look up the shooting. Harden shot 9 to 20 shots a game. LeBron shot 11 to 19, so you can do what you want with the margin. Another argument you could have for LeBron is the postseason. Once again, LeBron, he didn't have as tough competition, but still, he faced the number one seed in the second round and swept them. Then again, it's the Raptors. They choke a lot. First round, took it to 7 games against the most improved player, Victor Oladipo, and a decent Pacers team. Then in the finals, you had a very talented Boston team without their 2 stars that I think would have swept Cleveland if they had Kyrie. But we'll never know. Well, we might know next year if LeBron stays and they don't do anything. And then he was able to get them to the finals against a good, I still think that's a good Celtics team. That is a dang good Celtics team without Kyrie. I mean, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, who's an all-star. You got, as I said, Tatum and Brown, who are future all-stars. You have Aaron Baines, who's not that bad. Greg Monroe, who's pretty decent. You got Marcus Smart, who's a great bench player. Marcus Morris, who's a great bench player. And you're facing that with LeBron, Kevin Love, who gets hurt a lot, Tristan Thompson, who doesn't do much, J.R. Smith, who makes dumb mistakes as we saw in the finals, Kyle Korver, who is Kyle Korver, all he can do is shoot. You got, you just don't have that much in Cleveland versus what Boston had. So you got to look at that, the competition. And Harden was obviously going up against Golden State, who's better than Boston, but, I mean, you lose one guy and you collapse. You're up 3-2. I get it, Game 6 was in Golden State. That's a very difficult place to win at, but you've won there before, 2 games before, and you do pretty good, and then you just suck. You get dominated in the second half, and that's what happened without Chris Paul. I think if Chris Paul was there, that would have made the difference. That Houston would have made the finals. It would have been Cleveland versus Houston, but, Chris Paul had to get hurt, and James Harden couldn't carry the load. So I think if you were to base it off the postseason, there's another argument for why LeBron deserved it over Harden, but Harden won it, so congrats to him, as I said earlier. But that's all I have for today. Congrats to all the awards winners. Durant for the Community Award, Dwayne Casey for the Coach of the Year, Harden for MVP, Simmons for his non-Rookie of the Year. Anything else I missed? All those awards. Congrats to all those guys. Dikembe Mutombo for the Craig Sager Community, or not Community, but the Sager Thing Award. That was really cool. Yeah, but that's all I have for today. As I said, I'll be making videos more often now that I am feeling it, and I'm not talking super dumb. Well, not dumb, but super and not super puffy. So, yeah, I'll be making more videos this week, next week, all that. So that's all I have. NBA free agency. Let's go.